remember to have any props available that work for you. In your child's pose, a pillow behind your knees will support your thighs a bit better if your sit bones are not reaching your heels. A block in front of you or another pillow in front of you can support your head. You can also plant a kind of a pillow between your legs or even on top of your thighs, and then drape your chest and your belly over it if that feels good. So you don't have to just hang in the air here. You can bring the floor a bit closer to you so that you find some support, and you can find a bit of a restful moment before we get a bit more active. And in this restful moment, bring your attention to your breath and find just those inhales and exhales. And try first to just let yourself breathe as you were breathing. So no need to change that breath. Bring awareness to it. And that's a bit hard because as soon as we bring attention to that breath, we tend to make it a bit more obvious. You know, it's like, oh, yes, I'm breathing, you know. So just notice that. And then maybe then take advantage of that extra awareness and that deeper and longer breath, and make it even deeper and longer if that feels good. We'll stay for a few more cycles of breath. And then we'll begin to make this child's pose a little bit more active. So find your arms, your hands, your fingers, and reach them out in front of you if they're not there already. And then begin to press through the finger pads and lift your palms off the mat. And then lift your forearms and lift your elbows. Right away, there's a bit more action happening in your arms and your shoulders. Keep pressing through the finger pads. Maybe your head is lifted off the ground too. And then see if you can feel some activation through kind of the armpit area. Imagine your shoulder blades going a little broader and then wrapping forward towards those armpits. See if you can press a bit more through the pinky side or the pinky finger and the thumb. And take a deep breath in. And focus the inhale and the expansion in that space under your shoulder blades. And then let it go with your exhale. And then take a couple more. See if you can focus again on those shoulder blades, kind of under and lower shoulder blade area. Breathing in. And let it go, breathing out. One more like that. Keep pushing through the finger pads. Should feel active. Breath in. And then on your exhale, release. Come back onto your palms. Let your arms be heavy. Let your elbows bend. Take a breath in. And take a breath out. One more here. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then again, we're going to find that action. So lifting those palms, fingertips on the mat. Lengthen through your elbows. Maybe walk those fingers a little further. Keep your sit bones heavy. And then let's walk those hands towards the left side. And as you walk towards the left, feel your left ribs come a bit closer to your left thigh. Maybe they lean over that left thigh. And then walk your right fingers a little further and get that extra space through the right side of the body. And then notice some compression, some contraction through the left side. Take a breath. And then walk your hands back through center and then take them all the way towards the right side. And same idea here. Now the right ribs kind of come close to your right thigh. Maybe they lean on top of that right thigh. And then your left fingers crawl a little further away from you as you find that extra space through the left side of the torso. Heavy through that left sit bone. And then notice the contraction through the right side of the body. Breathing in and breathing out. And then coming back through center, your palms are still lifted. Keep reaching your fingers forward. Take another breath. And then on your exhale, bend your elbows, drop your elbows towards the floor, lift your forearms, palm to palm, thumbs are pointing back. As you drop your head, bring the thumbs to the back of your head, maybe to the base of your skull, the back of the neck. Pause here. And then work on active and passive. So you might pair the active with your inhale. So as you breathe in, push into those elbows and see if you can feel some space or a bit of stretch through armpits. And then on your exhale, allow your chest to drop towards the floor. And then one more like that, breathing in, push into those elbows. Think about spreading your shoulder blades. And then exhale, drop the chest. From here, bring those hands in front of you, and we're coming all the way into a table pose. Your hands are going to be under your shoulders, your knees under your hips, and already I'm feeling it in my upper chest and my shoulders. So that was quite a bit of work, right? So it should have awakened that upper body quite a bit. So let's find some cows and cats. As you inhale, drop the belly, bring the chest forward, gaze up. On your exhale, round your spine, push the floor away. And again, inhale into your cow pose. And exhale into cat. And let's find some movement through those legs. So as you inhale, tuck your toes into your cow and stretch the soles of the feet. Give the toes a stretch too. Exhale, untuck and press the tops of the feet into the mat as you round. Again, inhale, tuck your toes, stretch soles of the feet, cow. Exhale, untuck tops of the feet, press down into cat. Inhale again, tucking toes, cow. And exhale, untucking into cat. Now as you inhale, keep your toes pointing away from you, but we're going to bend the knees and we're going to draw the heels towards the glute as you find your cow pose. And then exhale, drop the tops of the feet, round the spine into cat. Two more like that, breathing in, heels to glutes, chest up. Breathing out, round the spine, chin to chest. One more, breathing in, lifting heels, lifting chest, gaze. And breathing out, rounding spine, chin to chest, nice job. Neutral spine from here, and a little work with those wrists. Left fingers turn towards the left, right fingers towards the right, and then see if you can turn your fingers any amount towards your knees. So the insides of your elbows and wrists might be pointing towards the top of your mat. And now pause here. We're going to go forward and back on those hands. So hips come forward, shoulders go over or beyond those wrists. And exhale, take those hips back, shoulders go back. And that's super, quite intense stretch for the insides of your wrists. And then again, come forward, press through the fingers. And take it back, exhale. And one more, inhale, coming forward, press through fingers. And exhale, taking it back any amount. And then bring yourself back through center. Turn your fingers to face out. So left fingers to the left, right fingers to the right. And now just side to side. And again, emphasize the press down through the finger pads, the ends of your fingers. And then bring that torso back through center. Turn your fingers to face forward. And now turn fingers towards one another. Left fingers towards the right and right fingers towards the left. So inner part of your wrist is facing to the sides. And then from here, we're going to do cow and cat, just like we did earlier. So as you breathe in, drop the belly, lift the chest, gaze up. As you breathe out, round your spine. And again, 2 more, breathing in. And breathing out, push the mat away with your hands. And 1 more, breathing in. And breathing out, rounding that spine. Nice job. And then from here, fingers point forward, a little counter pose for those wrists. Turn the left palm up, fingers point towards you, top of the hand to the mat. From here, you could stay. You might bring a little bit more weight into that hand if that feels good. You might send those hips back some also, only if that feels good. Don't overdo it. And then come back. Flip the palm, and same thing with your right. So palm is facing up, fingers towards you, top of the hand to the mat. And then a few things here that you can do. Maybe send those hips back. Maybe bring a bit more weight into it. All those things are going to intensify the stretch. So if you already have got enough of a counter stretch, then no need to do anything else. And then bring that palm back. Wiggle your fingers as if you were tapping. And then bring your hands a little forward. Tuck your toes and downward facing dog. Lift those knees up and back. Allow the head to relax towards the floor. Look from side to side. Find any movement that feels good to you today. About 5 cycles of breath here. Try to relax the jaw, the muscles around your eyes. See if you can feel that stretch through the backs of the legs as your heels are heavy and your sit bones lift. And you could do all of that with your knees bent. Take another breath in, another breath out. And then let's send those hands towards the feet. So walking your hands towards the back of your mat. And we'll meet there in a forward fold, holding on to opposite elbows and really allowing the chest, the shoulders, the head to be heavy towards the floor. Press evenly through the big toe side and the pinky toe side of your feet. And see if you can activate a bit more through the legs, so feel those legs engage. 1 more breath. And then let's use the next inhale to bring those hands to the hips. Keep the head heavy, slowly rising up, bending your knees as you uncurl the spine. And once you come up to stand, your arms by your side, your palms face forward, and the crown of the head reaches tall. Lift and wiggle your fingers, your toes, sorry. And then spread them out and press them down into the ground. As you breathe in, reach your arms up. On your breath out, right arm down, side stretch. Coming back through center, inhale, and taking it over to the other side as you exhale. Come back through center, breathing in. Interlace your fingers overhead. Turn the palms and give yourself a stretch towards the ceiling. Take a full inhale. And then on your exhale, arms go wide and behind you. Interlace those fingers at the lower back. And then first squeeze those shoulder blades. Then draw the elbows towards one another. And then send the knuckles towards the floor. So you started with a bit more of an active squeeze through that back body, and then as you send the knuckles down, it's more of a passive, you beginning to use gravity to get that extra squeeze, and then that stretch through the front of the body. Release those hands as you breathe in, reach your arms up, And on your exhale, bend your knees and fold forward. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward. 2 more times like that, halfway lift. Inhale, look for that neutral spine. Exhale and fold. And 1 more, halfway lift. Inhale. And exhale, folding forward. As you breathe in, walk your hands to the top of the mat. You're coming into a plank pose first. Your hands more or less on the shoulders. Maybe a little shift from side to side. You're squeezing through the glutes, pressing back through the heels. Breathe in. And then on your exhale, come back into downward facing dog. Lift those sit bones up and back. Chest towards your thighs, heels heavy. Push the floor away. Breathe in. And breathe out. 1 more here. Inhale. And then on your exhale, lower your knees to the mat. We're coming back into table pose. Your hands are under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. And we're going to find a little balance. So we're starting to kind of do things that will take us into that standing warrior 3. So when you're ready, your left leg is going to extend out behind you. We're going to try and keep it lifted. So you can push through the ball of the foot, or you could flex through your ankle, whatever keeps your leg active. Squeeze through that left glute. And then try to keep your posture and walk your right fingers forward and maybe lift that right arm by your ear. Palm is facing in and the thumb is pointing up towards the ceiling. Now take a moment and draw that lower belly up and in. Draw the lower ribs in too. Breathing in and breathing out. Find that containment. 1 more breath. So drawing that shoulder joint in and that femur bone in too. And then on your exhale, lower your hand and lower your knee. We're going to switch sides. Right leg now is going to reach out behind you. And again, making it active. Don't lift it too high. You want to try to stay in line. Right now, we're not going for a back bend. We're going for neutral spine. And then inhale, walk your left fingers forward. And then maybe those fingers lift off the ground too. Again, find that containment. That lower belly is drawing in. That arm bone is drawing back. That femur bone is drawing in. Another breath. Nice, really good. 1 more inhale, soften through the face. And then as you exhale, left hand lowers, right knee lowers, you back in your table. Take a cow and a cat, breath in. And breath out. And then find again your neutral spine. We're going to do that again. And this time we're going to add some movement. So slow things down, and it's about control. So it's not about how many you do. See if you can do at least 1, really feeling strong and in control of your body. So when you're ready, left leg reaches out behind us. And when you're ready, right arm reaches forward. Okay. Find that reach and then find that containment. Take a breath in. And then on your exhale, slow, controlled, elbow to knee underneath you. On your inhale, slow, controlled, extend out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend out. Nice job. Last one, elbow to knee. And inhale, extend it out. Take another breath in here. And then with your next exhale, this time lower the knee first. And then lower your hand. Back in your table pose. We're going straight to the other side. Right leg rises, breathing in. Left arm lifts. Pausing here for a moment. Try not to collapse into your right shoulder now. So keep pushing the floor away with your right arm. And then take a breath. With your next exhale, slow and controlled, elbow to knee. They'll meet underneath you. Inhale, extend, slow and controlled, nice. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend it out. Last one, elbow to knee, draw it in. And inhale, extend it out. Pause here. Find that again, that action through that lower belly, through leg and arm. One more breath. And then on your exhale, lower your knee first and then lower your hand. Nice job. From here, keep your knees and your hips where they are, and then your hands go wide, and let's walk those fingers, those hands forward. We're coming into puppy pose, and first we'll find more of a relaxed puppy pose. So your forearms might rest on the ground, your elbows, allow your chest to drop towards the floor. So you're finding a passive stretch through the chest, armpit area. Take a breath in and take a breath out. One more, still passive, restful as best you can. And then we're going to make it active. So kind of like what we did in that child's pose earlier, we're going to come onto the fingertips. So palms are going to lift, forearms are going to lift, elbows will lift. And then imagine here doing a bit of a cat pose with your spine. So try to tuck your tailbone between your legs. Try to find a bit of rounding. You might even draw the chin slightly towards your chest. Keep pushing through your fingers. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. One more here, breathing in and breathing out. Nice job. Walk your hands back, sit bones towards heels. We're coming into child's pose, and we'll bring those arms by the side body to give those shoulders a little break. So palms are facing up. You might have your hands kind of close to your feet. They might even rest on the soles of your feet, and drop the fronts of your shoulders to the mat. Head, neck relaxed too. 3 breaths. And now from your child's pose, with your next inhale, let's come to stand on the knees. If this doesn't work for you, feel free to find a seat. We'll just kind of use this posture to do a bit of a shoulder stretch. So as you breathe in, reach your arms overhead. And then on your breath out, left elbow is going to bend. The hand is going to drop behind the head, and you'll use your right hand to draw that left elbow in towards your head. You could use the elbow. You could also grab a hold of your forearm or your wrist if you prefer. So whatever works for you, you're getting a tricep stretch here. And then we'll take it into a side bend. So take a full inhale. And then on your exhale, go towards the right with your body. So you're getting that extra stretch through the left side of the body. Squeeze through the glutes. Keep pushing your hips forward. And then bring yourself back through center, reach your arms tall, and we'll switch sides. Right elbow will bend. Same idea on this side, get that stretch through that triceps, that armpit. And then when you're ready, take a breath. And on your exhale, take it over towards the left side, any amount. There you go, nice job. Squeeze through glutes, try not to collapse into lower back. And then as you inhale, bring yourself back through center, reach your arms tall, and on your exhale, return to your table pose. Walk your hands a little forward, and then downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift those knees and hips, and relax the head towards the mat. Full breath in, and a full breath out. Another one like that. And now walking your feet towards the top of the mat this time. And we'll meet in a forward fold. With your next inhale, bend your knees and come into chair pose, arms lift. And as you exhale, bring your hands to your heart. A little bit more work for those legs and a little bit of balance to prepare us for those warrior threes. So as you inhale, the left heel will lift. And exhale, lower. Right heel will lift. And exhale, lower. And now you could stay with lifting heels, or see if you can lift your left knee so the whole of the left foot lifts. And exhale, lower. And then right knee, right foot. And exhale, lower. With your next breath in, push the floor away, straighten legs, come all the way up to stand. Right arm down, side stretch. Back through center, breathing in. Over to the other side, breathing out. Center, breathing in. Find that interlace, maybe the opposite interlace to the one you did before of your fingers. Palms towards the ceiling, and get that whole body stretch. Breath in. As you exhale, hands come behind you. Same interlace. First bend your elbows. Feel shoulder blades come towards one another. Feel elbows come towards one another. And then keep that squeeze as you send those knuckles towards the floor. Full breath in. And a full breath out. With your next inhale, release hands, arms lift. And on your exhale, fold forward. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, planting hands and downward facing dog. Push the floor away, breathe in. And breathe out. Another breath in. And another breath out. Now as you inhale, bring yourself out into plank pose. And on your exhale, lower your knees straight down. So you are not in your table pose, you're in a supported plank pose. Okay? So your hips are forward off your knees. You've got more or less a diagonal line going from your knees all the way to the top of your head. Now you could stay here with your toes on the ground, or you could lift your feet and cross your ankles. Now imagine we're not lowering yet, okay? We are going to lower, but the first thing that you want to think about is to find tension between your ankles and the crown of the head. So begin to reach your ankles away from you and reach the crown of the head away from those ankles, so forward. Once you've got that tension going, begin to bend your elbows. Keep your elbows by your rib cage. Keep reaching crown of the head forward. So shoulders are going beyond those wrists. And then you're lowering that belly, that chest to the ground. Once you're there, release those feet. Hands under your shoulders. We're in that cobra pose that we did on Monday. So your gaze is going to be down, and we're going to lift that chest. Engage your legs. Press down through the feet. Squeeze the glutes, inhale, chest lifts any amount. You don't want to rely on squeezing too much through that lower back. And then exhale and lower. You're keeping your gaze down, so you're not getting distracted with the neck just extending and flexing. Lifting as you breathe in, lowering as you breathe out. One more like that. Inhale. Lift any amount, squeeze shoulder blades, and exhale and lower. Bring those forearms in front of you, hold on to opposite elbows, rest the forehead on them, relax the legs. I'm going to recover my breath because I'm out of breath right now. So let's take about 3 cycles. All right, so from now on the belly, we're going to reach those arms out in front of us. And just like we did earlier, begin to activate a bit more through those arms. Okay. Think about coming onto your fingertips and lifting the palms off the mat, off the ground, lifting your forearms, your elbows. And then activate through your legs, so squeeze through the glutes. Press a bit more through the tops of the feet and see if you can feel your thighs and kneecaps lift off the ground. And then we're going to lift opposite arm and leg. So as you breathe in, right arm and left leg will rise. As you breathe out, gently tap the floor. Again, same side, lift. And tap the floor. And again, lift. And tap. Last one, lift. And this time on your exhale, lower the hand and lower the foot. Switching sides, inhale, left arm, right leg, lift. And tap. And lift. Controlled movement. And tap. So control the descent. Don't let gravity just drop your arm and leg. Inhale, lift. Tap. Last one, inhale, lift. And exhale and lower. Bend your elbows once again. Forehead rests on those forearms. Relax the legs. Wiggle your hips from side to side. Breathe in. And breathe out. One more here. Breathing in. And breathing out. Bringing your hands under your shoulders, push yourself back all the way into child's pose. Sit bones towards heels. And if it's comfortable, bring your arms by your side. And again, let the fronts of the shoulders relax towards the mat. Let the head, the neck relax also towards the ground. And take a few cycles of breath, and you might want to focus your inhales and the expansion of your inhales into that back body, especially after what we just did. That back body kind of got compressed, and you want to now expand it out again. One more inhale and exhale. And then once again from here, we'll come to stand on those knees. And again, you're welcome to bring some padding under them if they need it, or to find a seat instead. We'll again find a little stretch for that back body. So as you breathe in, reach your arms up. And then as you breathe out, arms out into a T, and your right arm over the left, coming into your eagle arms. So you're stacking elbows, you're bringing hands or to your shoulders, or you're lifting forearms and bringing palms together. So any of those versions will work. Send your elbows a little higher, and then send your forearms away from you if you've got them lifted. Now from here, we're going to arch and round the spine. So as you breathe in, think about lifting the center of your chest towards the ceiling. And as you breathe out, think about rounding. And you might add a little lowering of your sit bones towards your heels as you round. And then again, inhale as you lift, elbows, chest towards the ceiling. And exhale as you round. And one more like that, breathing in and lift. And breathing out and round. And now as you breathe in, rise up, unwind the arms, reach them tall, and we're going to go straight to the other side. So arms come wide, and now it's your left arm comes over the right, if I'm not mistaken. And once again, your eagle arms here, any version that will work for you. Try to keep your elbows stacked as close as possible. That will give you that stretch through upper back. When you're ready, same movements as we did on the other side, lifting that chest, breathing in, rounding that spine, maybe sit bones towards your heels as you breathe out. And two more times, breathing in and breathing out. And last one, inhale and exhale. And then as you breathe in, coming up, unwind those arms, reach them tall. And on your exhale, lower those hands in front of you. tuck your toes and downward facing dog. Lift those sit bones up and back. And take a moment for that neck. Look under your right armpit. And then look under the left. And then back through center. Look towards your fingers. And then look towards your belly. And then allow the head to hang. And then from here, walk your feet towards the top of the mat. And forward fold on your exhale. With your next inhale, hands to your hips, bend those knees and rising up, coming all the way up to stand. Arms by your side, your mountain pose, palms are facing forward, shoulders away from your ears. Take a moment, maybe a bit of a sway on the feet. And we're going to get into that warrior 3. So use this sway of forward and back just to get the soles of the feet acquainted with the ground. And you want to use that contact with the ground to help you with balance. So spread your toes and make sure that you've got enough surface of contact with the floor. All right, so we're going to go straight into it. If you think you benefit from having a piece of furniture in front of you or your chair, have that. We're going to hinge right into it. So that's kind of how we're going to move into Warrior 3 today. So we'll start by grounding through the right foot. That's going to be your standing leg. Your standing leg in any balanced pose, you don't want to lock it out. So make sure that that leg is still responsive. If you lock it out, then the only way of coming out of the pose is kind of falling out or, breaking the standing leg, so we say. So you want to have it flexible, strong but flexible. And then you could start with your hands at your hips or I'd start with hands at hips. And then begin to hinge, so lifting that right foot off the ground, so drawing that femur bone into your hip, and then begin to hinge through those hips, that right hip actually. And then you don't have to go parallel to the ground, although that's kind of, what you kind of aiming towards. You don't want to go beyond parallel to the ground. You don't want to arch the body. So you want to keep that lower belly drawing in. And again, your hands could be straight underneath you on your chair, or they could be out in front of you, or you could keep them at your hips if you prefer. Make sure that you're breathing, come in and out of it as you wish. If your hands are at your hips, think about your elbows drawing slightly back, so you are engaging through that back body. Your left glute is definitely engaged. That's what's lifting your leg. And then slowly come back. And as you come back, find a little bit more of a bend into the standing leg that will allow you to rise back up and plant your left foot. Okay. So another thing to watch in these warrior 3s is your chest and your hips stay square. So you're not opening the hip of the leg that lifts. And that usually can happen pretty easy. We'll tend to do things like this. That left hip bone will be opening to the side. Try not to do that. And it's really hard. So a lot of times what you need to do is to drop the hip of the lifted leg. And that's really challenging to do. So when we do this other side, you might kind of watch that a little bit. So again, when you're ready, now it's your left foot that's going to be your contact with ground. Make that leg strong but flexible. Hands can be to hips and again, or in front of you. And then we're going into it with control. So we're not just flopping into it. We're lifting that right foot, draw that femur bone in, and then begin to hinge through your left hip as you go forward and down with that torso. And try not to lift your right hip or open it up to the side. So if your right foot is flexed, your right toes stay pointing down towards the floor. And again, don't go too far. If you go too far down, if you find yourself that you want to open to the side, that means that you're probably going too far down for, where you are today. So keep those hips square, work that right hip down. Nice work. Slow things down, breathe in, breathing out. And when you're ready, come back. So when we go into these poses, and like any pose, to make it active, you want to make sure that you can come out of it with integrity. Okay, so if you've got to come out of it like fumbling down or like helping yourself with something else, then it might mean that you went into it or you went too far into it. Okay, so we'll try it one more time on each side. And again, control, don't go too far. So the strength also relies in not letting yourself go too far. Okay? So standing leg, your right leg, spread those toes. Left femur bone comes in, so your left foot floats off the ground. Your hands again or to hips or whatever works for you. And begin that hinge through your right hip. Draw the lower ribs in, draw that lower belly in, draw the shoulder blades slightly towards one another. Keep the back of the neck long. Keep your breath going. Drop that left hip. Breath in, breath out. And then bend into your standing leg as you begin to come back up. Slow things down to come back. That's also part of the movement, the pose, and then come back to stand. So I recommend those of you that have got something out in front of you that you're holding on to, the more weight you have away from the center of the body, the more challenging and the harder it is to control. So if you find yourself that with your arms out, you're really wobbly, practice first your arms in, your arms closer to you. So bring other piece of furniture underneath you, or hands to hips, or even hands to chest, so that you find that control. And then once you've got that strength and that containment, then you work on reaching forward with those arms. So try that. Sometimes we focus on having the arms out, and that adds just another layer of wobbliness, and it's more difficult to control the movement. Left foot now is going to be the standing foot. Take a moment to, again, make it strong but flexible. And then when you're ready, right femur bone draws in. And we begin to hinge through that left hip. Don't go too fast. Think about that containment that we were doing in table pose when we had the arm and the leg out. See if you can find it here, and it doesn't have to mean arms out, and you don't have to go as far. See if you can find that connection to the core, that containment, shoulders in, hips in, squeeze through the glutes. Full breath in here. Full breath out. Standing leg can have a bend in it, perfectly good. One more breath. And then a deeper bend into that standing leg as you rise back up and come back to stand. Nice work, nice work. Recover your breath, come into your mountain pose, shake it out if you need to. Maybe let your arms dangle from side to side, forward and back. Full inhale, open mouth, exhale. And then with your next inhale, top of the mat, reach your arms tall. And on your exhale, a nice bend in those knees and fold forward. Hands to your shins, halfway lift, lengthen spine. Exhale, plant your hands, step your feet back, downward facing dog. Take an inhale and bend your right knee really deep as you straighten the leg. And then straighten that right knee, bend your left knee. And then straighten, and then bend both knees. And all the way down into child's pose. Sit bones towards heels, chest towards thighs, arms maybe in front of you or maybe by your side, whatever feels right to you at this moment. 5 breaths here. We went from being far away from the ground and vulnerable in that balancing pose to now being really close to the ground. Maybe it feels safer, definitely more supported. So see if you can really let the body relax. One more inhale and exhale. From your child's pose, walk your hands towards you. You have them in front of you. Begin to lift your spine and then send your feet to one side and finding a seat as then your feet come all the way out in front of you. Once you've got your seat with your legs in front of you, the knees bent, those feet are going to go wide, the knees go wide too, hands around your shins, and just some cows and cats as you breathe in. Bring that chest forward, lift the gaze, open up the throat. As you breathe out, round that spine, chin towards the chest. Allow yourself to rock forward and back on those sit bones at that sacrum, if that feels comfortable. And you'll do that. You'll notice that as you breathe in and you come forward onto those sit bones, your elbows bend, you're holding onto your shins and you're pulling your upper body forward. And then as you breathe out, your elbows extend and you're allowing that back body to roll back. And one more time, breathing in. And breathing out. Keep those feet planted so that you don't roll all the way down. And then with your next inhale, come up to a neutral spine. And let's bring the soles of the feet together. Let your knees go wide. Hands can come behind you, maybe opening up the chest, maybe looking up. Or if you feel more like it, bring the hands in front of you and then encourage that chest to go forward and down. Relax through the jaw and the eyes. Take a breath. And then from wherever you are, come back into a neutral spine. Lift your knees, plant your feet, and we're coming all the way down onto our back body. Those arms can reach in front of you. Take a breath in. As you exhale, section by section, see if you can feel that lower back, lower to the ground. And then see if you can feel your back ribs lower. And then feel your shoulder blades arrive. And lastly, feel the head rest on the ground. Once you are here, a bit of a gentle bridge pose. So heels close to your sit bones, arms by your side. Use your arms as much as you use your legs here. So find those palms pressing down, those forearms and those elbows. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards one another and then press into your heels as you lift your hips up towards the ceiling. It doesn't have to be very far, just finding a little bit more space in the front body. Breathing in and breathing out. If you need a little extra, lift your right heel. You're on the ball of the right foot. And then lower it. And then left heel on the ball of the left foot. And then lower. And if you want a little bit more, lift both heels. And then lower those heels and slowly from upper spine to lower spine, lower all the way back to the ground. Bring those knees into your chest, a loose little squeeze, a rock from side to side. Maybe a rotation through your ankles, a wiggle through your toes. And then we'll go into a reclined twist. So you choose here your knees close to your chest and you drop them to the left, or your feet planted, your knees bent, and you drop them to the left. Okay, so it can be a bit more intense with the knees close to the chest, depends. Either way, your chest is still facing up towards the ceiling, and you can send your right arm out towards the right side. Maybe arm is extended with the palm facing up, or maybe you've got a cactus arm, so elbow is bent. Gaze can stay up, or maybe it turns towards the right side. And then as you're ready, bring those knees back through center. And then take it over to the other side. And sometimes sides are different, so one side might take a twist a bit easier than the other, so adapt. It doesn't have to look the same on each side. But again, the aim is to keep the chest facing up. Get a stretch through the left side of your chest. Maybe gaze over to the left. And then as you're ready, come back through center. Find any other movement that feels good to you before we find stillness, or maybe a squeeze of those knees in, maybe even forehead lifting towards the knees. And then eventually allow the body to rest on the ground. And find any position, any shape for your body that will be conducive to stillness, to rest. And of course, it could be on your back, it could be on your side, it could be in a seated position. Once you find your posture, take a deep breath in. And then take an open mouth exhale, maybe even loud, audible. And if that felt good, see if you can do another one. And then allow the body now to relax, to soften, release tension from that physical body. See if the mind follows along, stays calm and relaxed. Or see if the mind goes a different path. And then try not to force things. Chances are, if you find some distance between you and those thoughts, those to-do lists, those expectations or those ruminations, chances are if you witness them without necessarily responding or reacting, they might soften, they might have less of a grip on you, they might fade into the background. And so this is an opportunity to practice that. Nothing else to do right now.
And now notice any thinking happening. For a moment, just notice the content of your thinking. And then see if you can move away from that. See if you can let it be. And then bring your attention to your next inhale. And continue to your attention now onto your next exhale. Notice the movement of the breath in the body. And then begin to add movement to that movement. So maybe a movement through your fingers, maybe movement through your toes. Movement anywhere else in the body, following that breath cycle. And then taking your time with no rush, making your way up if you are on your back body or your side body. And then we'll meet in a comfortable seat, whatever that is for you at this moment. Your hands could rest on your lap. You could bring your hands to rest at your heart, palms together. Find a bit more of a lift through the spine, but don't overdo it, so still easy seat. And then let's take a moment to acknowledge the practice. And then let's acknowledge ourselves for practicing today. We acknowledge those who have practiced with us at any time. And then all those that in one way or another have made it possible. We'll end with a word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.